Vancouver. And I want to bring out the cast, the pride of Vancouver, British Columbia, Jacob Tremblay.
Brady and Midori, please come to the podium. And of course,
You know this Lucas from Good Boys?
and then the two biggest villains in movie history.
Molly Gordon and Midori. Is that everyone? We got everyone out here?
The movie's hilarious. The casting is fantastic. Can you talk about casting your cast?
Sure. We were very into Jacob Tremblay for this role. He'd never done a comedy before, but with that face and with those lines, it just seemed like maybe magic had happened. And we Skyped with him, and we've never done this before. We Skyped with him, and then we Skyped with his parents, which doesn't happen when you cast Willem Dafoe. So we had Jacob, and then we spent...
And then 8 months later.
8 months later, we found these two guys, and we're amazing. And we were looking, there were kids from Europe, there were Canadians, there were Americans, and yeah, it took forever, but we were so psyched that we found these guys. Yes.
So I've noticed you've got your ad campaign going about making a movie that they can't see, although they just did, didn't they?
What? Don't tell anyone. That's a secret for here.
Right. Well, hypothetically, if you know what that means, how was it? Can we, no.
Take it away, If I'm being honest, I am shocked and appalled. Seth told me that this was going to be a PG-rated family movie. He lied, and I am so mad. I think we all know if it was going to be a PG movie that it would be 4 seconds long. I just want to put that out there. I hope everyone enjoyed the movie and that you all enjoyed yourselves. We put a lot of work into this production, and I'm really happy on how it came out. So.
And I do see the irony. It is called Good Boys, but we're really like bad boys.
Oh guys, just keep talking. We don't need to say anything. You guys keep going.
We can take some. We have a little bit of time for audience questions too. There are mics in the aisles. If you'd like to stand up and ask a question, you're welcome to. I am actually.
Let's welcome Boys to Men to the stage.
Somebody else is cleverer than me. Go ahead. First.
Hey, awesome job, guys. You guys are so funny. I'm curious. I caught a couple like references to like some R-rated movies and then like some other like coming-of-age movies from like the 80s and 90s. I'm like guessing that frat scene where they're like in the drug, that was like Boogie Nights, I'm guessing, right? Okay. Yeah, okay, good. I'm just wondering if you guys like had any other references to any other like coming-of-age or like other R-rated movies.
I mean, we talked about the movie being, our goal at least was like a live action South Park. We talked a lot about Superbad. We talked a lot about The Hangover. We kind of like putting the kids in danger and them coming out of it. I'm trying to think what else. Stand By Me.
Yeah.
Stranger Things. Not a movie, but still counts.
Thank you. Well, actually, did you show the cast certain films to prep them at all?
What did you guys say?
Me and Keith were actually really eager to work with Seth and everyone else. We did the production of Superbad, so we didn't get consent to watch Superbad. We had a slumber party. Yeah, we got consent, as they said in the movie. So we got consent to watch that. It was a lot of fun. We had a slumber party that night. So.
About the film, I'm glad you guys included the message of consent. That's very important. My question is, how much did you tell the boys about the objects they were handling? Or did you?
There was very little context for, usually with actors, you know, they want to talk about their process. Thankfully, in this one, there was less of that, and we did not encourage it. So there was a lot of like, why don't you ask your mom the questions that you're asking them? A lot of passing the buck to mom.
Nice jacket. Go ahead.
Oh boy. I literally wore this jacket to make that joke. But I'm gonna say this, y'all might have made a classic. I'm gonna put that out in the universe. Okay, my question. No, I'm getting it. As far as using the conduit of what Superbad is a story of friends coming to terms with change and reconvincing their friendship, what else did you kind of use as your techniques to kind of invert that story into your own enigma?
Gene?
Can I answer that tomorrow?
You can send me an email.
I don't know. I mean, it's still an enigma, to be honest. You know, we have really smart people helping us on this thing, and we leaned on them a lot.
This will be slightly better than that.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'll try. I don't know what Enigma is, but I understood the rest of it. I think we really want to tell a story about that very specific time, and so you've seen a lot of those movies. You've seen the versions of these that are high school movies, and we wanted to go younger, and these kids are very certain about their friendships, but it's that time where you're not going to be friends with the people that you're necessarily friends with at that time, and it is a lot of logistics, and you are friends with people because they live in your neighborhood or because their parents are friends or whatever, and it starts to be around 6th grade that I was into karate, and that's why I was so cool. And you know, everyone kind of finds their thing, and then you become friends with your karate people, and the basketball kids hang out, and the theater kids. And I think that this is the beginning. They don't really know where they are, and so they're kind of clinging to each other, but they're also moving on.
Sure, thank you. Also, I want to say this to Seth Rogen and also you, Evan Goldberg. Yeah. Like, as I explained about Superbad, that movie taught me film. Honestly, that movie, like, I mean, there's many other films, but that movie, like, that's the first movie I broke down and taught me film, and I want to thank you guys for making that. My name's Laurie. That changed my life. And Seth, I've been a fan of yours since Free TV since I was 5. We're gonna meet in the future.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I'm a fragile man and can use all the support I get, so I appreciate that. Also, I want to say one thing. We did karate together. We did karate together. We were that lame joke. That was us.
Looks funny, did. Go ahead.
My question is for the good boys. Can you share with us one of your favorite memories making a movie?
One of my favorite memories was probably the paintball gun scene. That was so fun to shoot. You guys have no idea how awesome that was. Compared to that scene, I remember watching some of the action scenes from The Matrix. So you watch that scene again, you can tell that I'm there were many favorite scenes, but I would have to say the frat house is one of my favorite scenes because that was the first time I got to break a paddle over someone's back. Who wasn't my brother? Yeah, that was a lot of fun. So that was my favorite scene.
I would have to say my favorite scene is probably the scene where we're in the park. The park? Yeah. The scene where we're in the park when I'm like, you had us bring drugs to a playground. So yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay.
Wait, did I interrupt you? I'm just Molly and Midori. It's kind of like, was this super fun or super annoying? Acting with these.
Both. No, it was amazing. They're incredible. And the biggest challenge was deciding if I would explain what they asked me.
Yeah, I was a former babysitter, and half of this summer felt a lot like that job, as opposed to acting. But, yeah, they're lovely children.
So I want to know, you guys have to like convince your parents to let you do this, or were they super cool about it?
My parents were all for it. Because I had never done a comedy before, I think, because I like to do a whole bunch of different genres of movies. So I read the script with my parents. I didn't. Yeah, it was a lot of fun because it was a lot of fun because I like playing all different personalities with my characters. So I thought it was a really cool experience in order to be able to swear because. Yeah, I'm not. None of us are allowed to swear at all at home. We get punished.
It was kind of hard for me because I didn't want to do it at first because of all the swearing and stuff. So. But my mom just told me to like pray about it and it's good.
These kids are hilarious. Seth Rogen, watch out, they're gonna take your job.
Take it. I make money off them. It's fine.
Well, hello, good boys, bad boys, teens.
Tweens.
Rogen.
Yeah, tweens.
So, I just wanted to say that this film's humor really reminded me of my mom. It was brilliant, and it was also so frugal in the best way possible. Like, every joke drove the story forward. There was not a moment wasted, and I was just wondering, what other jokes or scenes were left out of the final cut?
Oh wait, yeah, I know. Alright, so there's a scene where we were at the mall, right? Oh, alright. So there was a scene where we were at the mall and we had like this whole choreographed thing where we would jam out to Bang Bang by Jessie J. We would stand on top of tables with ketchup bottles and we would just jam out to Jessie J. If we could, we'd perform that whole thing right here. Oh yeah. I don't think there's enough room here and it's a bit clean. I don't feel like messing it up right now.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Well, probably the ball pit scene. There was a ball pit scene. Yeah.
That we took
So long. Exactly. Yeah. Well, there was like a dancing scene, a ball pit scene where we were like in a ball pit and it was a lot.
You're the only somewhat like tweens or teens in the entire ball pit, and after like a bunch of 6-year-olds jumped in and it made us look like.
And I throw up in the ball pit.
Yeah. Because you ate pizza that was in the ball pit.
I ate pizza. That
was scripted.
And then after that, there's a the dancing scene. We go into like a whole dance to like on the stage and like the robots are like singing a song or whatever. I don't know, it's weird. Yeah.
This is awfully fun, but actually this is the last question. Go ahead.
Okay, so I love the balance of having, I guess, it's not so it's actually not mean-spirited at all, and these kids are saying these things, but they're not, but it's all in a good spirit, and there's the whole anti-drug thing and the whole anti-bullying thing, and I was wondering what it was like and how important it was to create that balance for, and the question's kind of for everyone.
Well, it was very important not to, we don't love mean humor. I have to give credit to Point Grey as well, because I think that's part of their brand. It's not nasty, it's not mean humor that puts people down, but I guess, uplifting humor. But it's sweet, and it's not at the expense, it punches up, it doesn't punch down. And I think they brought a lot of that to this.
Well, this was incredibly fun for us. Another just great adventure, entertainment. It's just everybody in the cast. Thank you guys are fantastic creators. You guys are great.
Thank you guys so much. Thanks for coming out.